Hello, welcome to another episode of Stand Tall. It's October 16th. We are in chapter 9, The Army on the March, and today we are reading verse 40. If our troops are no more in number than the enemy, that is amply sufficient. It only means that no direct attack can be made. What we can do is simply to concentrate all our available strength, keep a close watch on the enemy, and obtain reinforcements. Wow, this one hits close to home for me as of right now, just because when you realize you're just getting started in business or you've been doing it for a while, there comes a point when you're just not going to be able to compete without cooperating positively with somebody else. It's one of the things I wrote down in the journal a long time ago. I don't remember where I heard it from, but it says cooperate and compete positively. And I think that there's something to be said for competing with somebody in a manner that iron sharpens iron in a sense. And I am in a sense. And I am very excited to maybe couple some of these with principles from Ray Dalio and building a meritocracy. And I think that, maybe with a combination of either stoicism or art of war and principles, we might find something very interesting there. So the good news is this is my show, and if I want to change stand tall from stoic to principles, we can, but we'll see what happens. This is a long diatribe, but Master Sun says, in military matters, it is not necessarily beneficial to have more strength, only to avoid acting aggressively. Okay, I like this take as well. It is enough to consolidate your power, assess opponents, and get people. That is all. So, yes, they say in military matters, but in all matters, it's not always the best to be the strongest. I learned this a long time ago in myself. And I think the strongest is when you admit to yourself that you're not as strong as you think you are, and that's okay. And then you just become stronger once you find your purpose. Sometimes you think you found your purpose, but Shinhao reflects on this. When your military power is not greater than that of the enemy and there is no advantage to move on, it is not necessary to ask for troops from other countries, just to consolidate your power and get people among the local workers. Then you can still defeat the enemy. I'm very sorry for this. Dog, drop it. She has ammonia tablets for the fish tank. She does not need to be chewing that up. It would be very bad for the dog. Gia Lin says a large group striking a small group is not held in high esteem. What is held in high esteem is when a small group can strike a large group. Man, I like that. So I'm going to take one of these little tabs here and just tab it. I like that. And I always have liked that word esteem. When you hold someone in esteem, it's a good thing. A large group striking a small group is not held in high esteem. It's just not. October 16th. Spread the word. Some people with exceptional minds quickly grasp virtue or produce it within themselves, but other dim and lazy types, hindered by bad habits, must have their rusty souls constantly scrubbed down. The weaker sorts will be helped and lifted from their bad opinions if we put them in the care of philosophies, principles. Wow, powerful. So, on that note from Seneca, Moral Letters 95.36 to 37, I want to just personally add in this little book that I'm reading, the Gnostic Gospels. And I would highly recommend Christians and everybody pick this up. I mean, oh my gosh, it has so many good nuggets like this one. It's not what goes into your mouth that will defy you. What comes out of your mouth is what will defile you. And that's very powerful. The philosophy teachings, I know I'm getting a little long-winded on this, but it does tie into the more you know, right? Knowledge is power, and that's what that is saying here. The weaker sorts of the ignorant will be helped and lifted from their bad opinions if we put them in the care of philosophy's principles. Okay, so don't let anyone trick you into their bad opinions. A lot of people, even so-called experts, have bad opinions, and a lot of so-called experts are people who have been faking it, trying to make it. And that's why I think fake it till you make it is, it's good as a confidence booster, but it can also turn you into somebody you're not if you're not careful. So let's see what Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman from the Daily Stoic have to reflect on October 16th. Stoicism is not an evangelical religion. You're not obligated to save anyone. There's no risk of hell if a soul remains in ignorance of the teachings of Epictetus or Marcus Aurelius. Interesting. But now that you've learned and studied a better path, you can be of service to others. You can share your wisdom or insight with a friend or stranger, remembering that behavior is always a better example than a lecture. Everyone deserves to benefit from philosophy's principles, as Seneca put it. If you see someone who is in need of help or who has asked for guidance, provide it. You owe them that much. If you want to take that to the biblical terms, Jesus is within you and Jesus is within everybody. And so philosophy principles, regardless, you need to help people. And this might be really controversial, but if you didn't give an F about what was going on in the Middle East until about 2 or 3 weeks ago, you owe it to your fellow humans, Israeli or Palestine or whatever the conflict is over there, that they are all humans, and you need to pay attention about how the media is talking about human lives being lost, who's being portrayed as the good and who's being portrayed as the bad. And that's all I'm going to say on that, because for a lot of us out here, what we're doing is we're keeping a close watch on the enemy and obtaining reinforcements. And that might be mentally, that might be physically, that might be however, but I think that as long as we stay true to a lot of these principles, we can keep standing tall out there. So as they're saying, care for one another, and let's try to act and lead according to these principles that we're learning and not just preach.